Richard from California. Richard, I think, is an atheist or maybe an agnostic. It says, is the dictionary definition of the word creation proof that the world is a creation? Should be a lot of fun. How you doing, Richard?
I'm doing great. I've been listening to the show on the phone, and you're doing great.
Hey, thanks, buddy. So your question is, does the dictionary definition of the word creation entail that there was a creation? Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
are you referring to the
it.
creation of the universe?
I think so. Yeah, like the world or the universe or however that works.
Well, I think there's differing opinions on it, but I don't think so. Like when I think of the word creation, I'm thinking that theoretically I could create a car. I'm creating it out of existing parts. But when we talk about like a theistic creation concept, we typically think of like creating something from nothing, like ex nihilo. So if that's the case, if we're talking about that kind of creation, then no, I don't think that the definition of creation gets you anywhere, because as far as I'm aware, I don't know of any evidence that would point towards the idea that there was once nothing and then something, was given rise out of that nothing, and certainly not that a magic man in the sky did it. Now, Eric might have a different take on this. What do you think, Eric?
Well, what I'm kind of thinking is I just think it's odd to appeal to like a word having a definition to invoke that it therefore is real, because like leprechaun has a definition, but they don't exist. I mean, the idea of a leprechaun exists in folklore, pop culture or whatever, but they're not real things. I mean, we could like conceptually invent a word that the definition of the word is something that does not exist, and
Are you telling me that leprechauns don't exist?
That is what I'm telling you.
This changes everything. I'm returning my Lucky Charms. I was under an impression.
Yeah. It's like the Tooth Fairy too. That turned out.
Tooth Fairy too?
Mm-hmm. Also the Tooth Fairy.
Tooth Fairy's not real either.
No. So Richard, I guess I'd want to, I'm just curious as to what you really mean by does the definition of it prove that it's real, or is that evidence that it exists? I pulled up the definition for creation. There's two of them. First definition is the action or process of bringing something into existence. And the second definition is the bringing into existence of the universe, especially with regard as an act of God. So is because one of the entries, is that what you meant?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. There's different schools of thought with dictionaries. You wouldn't think that a dictionary would there would be all that much depth to them, but there actually is. And this is Oxford, and I don't know what their particular philosophy is. Some dictionaries, they just give you the definition of the way words are commonly used, and other dictionaries take a philosophically different approach. It's actually this very weird, esoteric thing that I don't know too much about, and I don't know how Oxford is doing it, but if that's just what people often mean when they use the word creation, which I agree with that, I don't see that as evidence of anything outside of the way the word is commonly used.
That makes sense to me.
Well, hey, thanks, Richard. I appreciate the question. Great to hear from you.
Great to hear from you. You guys rock.
Hey, thank you. Cheers, buddy. Have a great one. We've got one more caller in the queue. I'm going to bring up George, and let's see what George has to say. George says, how do you maintain healthy relationship with Christian in-laws? And buddy, this is a doozy. So the first thing I would say, George, is I'm not a licensed professional therapist. I did have to take counseling when I went to seminary, so I know a little bit about this, but I'm not a professional. That being said, Can you give us a little bit of background information about your situation so we can perhaps give you, if we could give you advice, give you the most applicable advice? Uh-oh.
Nothing.
The in-laws get them? George? Well, George, if you're listening to this back, I'll assume your connection failed you. If you're listening to this back a couple days from now, here's the only advice I could tell you. If you have Christian in-laws and you want to maintain a relationship with them, it's not your job to force them to lose their beliefs. It's not your job to force them to become atheists. As a part of a family, sometimes you have to make sacrifices to keep the peace. For example, in my family, we have a pretty good diversity of belief systems in my family, politically and religiously. But like, we don't talk about that over dinner. That's not polite conversation for us because we love each other, right? We don't want to get into those fights. So that being said, I would just say, listen, if you love your in-laws and you want to get along with them, don't purposely try to create division. Don't purposely try to be like, yeah, but this, that, and the other, you should think like I think, right? I think that's dangerous whether you have a religious view or not a religious view. That being said, if your in-laws are pressing you, like they're trying to drag you to church, they're trying to convince you to be a believer, I would stand my ground and say, listen, I appreciate that this works for you. It doesn't work for me. I can't go and pretend like I believe something that I don't believe in. But I don't know, Eric, how would you handle such a situation?
I don't think I really disagree with anything that you said, but I would maybe just say, ask them or like lay down the ground rules or whatever, or like have meet with them and say, can we agree on this like one ground rule? And maybe the ground rule would be, how about we never discuss religion ever? Like, I know there's tons of people. I just had a family reunion. I just got back a few days ago from it. And almost everybody on that side of my family, they're pretty deeply religious. And I'm pretty sure they all know that I'm an atheist. And it just never got brought up like one time, because, it shouldn't matter. And now, some people, if that's the only thing that matters to them, and Lord knows, we know that there's so many Christians or whatever can be like that. Like if they hold non-believers in contempt, well, that's something you just can't hope to rectify, unfortunately. But yeah, my unique advice, I would say, can we just establish it's no politics at dinner kind of thing, no religion ever, if you're around me.